Hey Wellness Warriors, welcome back to the Vibrant Life Source channel. I'm so happy you're here. And today is another episode of Leveling Up, Real Talk about Perimenopause with Jill and LeAnn. So this is a special edition of Vibrant Chats. So this is episode 4. I actually had to look. So we're on to episode 4. And this episode is called Healthy Living Through Perimenopause. So this episode was funny because I was very tired and got a little punchy. So it was a fun episode to do because I was fighting, wanting to take a nap. And so it was pretty comical. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's actually really good. And again, we bust out our book by Dr. Stacy Sims, Roar, and we just talk about how do we manage, how do as ladies live through perimenopause, through a healthy lifestyle. So I hope you enjoy it. Just a quick little note, make sure that you go down below and hit like to support my channel, and also so you get updates on future episodes coming up. We got one more episode of this particular series coming out in October, so I don't want you to miss that. And yeah, just stay connected on through Facebook, through Instagram, obviously through YouTube. That's where we are. And just let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. All right, everyone, have a fantabulous day, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to Leveling Up, Real Talk about Perimenopause with Jill and LeAnn. I gotta tell you, I feel like a wilted petunia.
Yeah, it's much hotter where you are. It's hot here, but you guys.
It's the first cool day, and so I'm not on my A game today. And so, feeling a little slow on the load.
It's okay.
So, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, it is. It is all good.
That's why we do these things, because, I'm not feeling 100% today. So, you're just going to have to take the load.
We're just gonna have some real talk about not feeling 100%, because that's real, right? That's real.
Right. But first, we've got some love to give.
We do. We've got okay. So, well, I've two shout outs, right? One to a client. I didn't request permission to name names, but she knows who she is. She and I did talk about it. That after watching our last episode, she texted me within like moments, where do I get this book? Of course, we're talking about this book, right? This book. And so I went on Amazon and I, shared the book with her and said, this is how. So she was obviously watching. And then the second, yay. And then two thumbs up. The second person I have to shout out to, again, not going to name names, but she'll know, is a cousin that I recently saw who said she's like, I love your videos. And I thought she was referring to like a silly little balance video I did on Instagram. And I was like, oh, you mean this? She's like, no, the one about perimenopause. And I was like, oh my God, you're watching? She's like, I love them. They're so great. And I know my cousin. I have awesome cousins. I have to say, we're the same age. So obviously she's going through similar things. And, but I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you were watching. So felt the love, but at the same time, I said to them, I didn't know you were watching because no one commented. Right? I see we have views, right? We go into our insights and all that stuff. And I see we have views, but we don't know who's watching it. So love to my client and my cousin for watching. And anyone else who's watching, thank you.
I have a family member, again, I'm not going to, they just commented that they started watching. I think they said they started watching one of the later episodes first, and then they went back, and they're like, this is so, well, first they said entertaining, and I'm like, okay, the information, and they're like, oh no, it's so great. It's like, this is great information. I love it.
Yeah.
And so thank you. And yeah, I
Right?
think, you know, if you're watching it and you are enjoying it, let us know, because we want to hear from you.
We do. And I mean,
I think sometimes people get, I don't know, nervous. I don't know what the deal for, but if it's something that's like resonating with you and you're just like really enjoying it, let us know, because
or we don't cover it enough, or
if we're like totally like not covering something that you want, because hello, there's only one more episode after this one.
Although, we have a full course that,
That's true. But, I mean, so there's all of this, so there's other things that we could be covering in this last episode. So anywho's.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Let us know. Like, comment, share, save,
Please do. So that's kind of perks me up for what we're talking about today.
No, obviously, we enjoy discussing this. We enjoy hanging out with each other, but it's really nice to hear that other people are also enjoying and are entertained.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole idea of this was the fact that we are going through this. Other women are probably going through it. So a real conversation about, because that's what we wanted community around. That was the whole purpose why we
absolutely.
And so I'm totally pleased as punch that it's starting to hit its mark.
Like that is exactly what this was for.
Right. So today we are embarking. We are going forward.
We are continuing our journey. Yeah.
The journey continues to part 3.
Part 3.
Our plan for peak performance.
So that you can look like this girl.
Hello, that's like every day. That's like when, that's like a Tuesday.
I do that. How I always look.
I do that every morning when I get out of bed.
That's how you get out of bed, just like that. Like,
yeah. So
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Did you? Oh,
I didn't know. You never told me. That's how you get it.
Yeah. Hello. I thought everyone did. So chapter 3.
Part 3.
I know we've kind of talked ahead of time a lot about this.
Yeah.
Approach it. Do we want to kind of do what our kind of disclaimer is for part 3 now?
Yeah, I think so. Early on in the episode.
Yeah, I think, and we've said this before with the book, right? Let's keep this in mind. So this book is a lot of the referencing, or a lot of the information are for, I would say, more elite female athletes.
Yes, high level triathlon
or
triathlete,
like collegiate. Well,
yeah.
Of course, if you're a collegiate athlete going through perimenopause,
I was like, well, I say it like this.
I told you I was slow today. I told you I was slow on the upload today. You didn't have my back.
Right. Okay. So
I warned you.
However, you may be a mother going through perimenopause to a collegiate athlete.
That's what I meant.
That's what I thought you meant.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I have your back.
You do. I just need to shut up so you can do it.
So yes, if you are a mother of a collegiate athlete, some of these chapters would be more specific to that young lady.
Yes.
Not necessarily not necessarily the people that we think we're targeting here,
Right.
right? With this, we are targeting yes, you are athletes in that you are exercising for a purpose.
Right.
However, we are not training for hours a day, right? Typically, that's not the people who are watching us. The people that we are exercising for health, we're exercising so we don't feel old, that we don't, to
Right.
balance our hormones, whatever it is.
Now, unless you happen to be someone that is watching this and you are someone that trains for more elite athletics, like triathlons or long bike races or just longer endurance types events,
Yes.
Fabulous. Then,
Power to you.
Get the book.
But yeah, buy the book and
read
this chapter. Read this part. Read part 3.
Right. But for the rest of Utes.
Yeah. Use guys. If you want to use an East Coast.
This is probably where I would say you and I are going to kind of tap into more of our coaching training, how we work with our clients, and just, more everyday type things and things that we're seeing with our own clients, particularly our female clients, and what we're telling them and educating them on.
Yes.
Not that there's not good information in here, it just may not be directly relatable to the everyday athlete.
So for example, chapter 13, we're not going to cover. That's the one going to extremes where, people are having to acclimate to heat or to cold or high altitudes. So if that's you watching, please go ahead and read chapter 13 on your own. Because
if you find yourself doing high altitude training currently, I highly recommend chapter 13.
And find a coach who knows that, because I'm at sea level.
Right.
That's where I coach and train.
And if you're currently living in a state going through a heat wave like I am, then perhaps chapter 13, perhaps I need to read chapter 13.
Maybe. However, your heat wave is only going to be for hopefully no more than, a few days. More days. I'm like no more than any days, really.
That would be the hope.
So we're going to focus more on the daily fueling. Chapter 10, we talked about, we will talk a little bit about sport specific fueling, chapter 11. And because there's a lot of good information that I think our everyday athletes should be aware of, right? And then 12 about hydration, and 14 recovery. So that's really what we're going to kind of cover today.
It's kind of the bulk of, and we'll see how far we get with it.
Yeah.
I think we can get through all of that today, and then everything else we will save for episode 5 in our wrap up.
Oh God, I can't believe we're already there.
I know. Okay. I can't think about it. I just can't think about it. I can't think about it being over. I know. Feeling a little verklempt.
Talk amongst yourself.
I know. All right.
Okay, so, do it.
Fueling people.
Can't outrun a bad diet. First thing she says.
People. You got to listen to your own body.
Nope.
Stop looking to social media for your nutrition plan. Unless it's one of us.
I was like, wait a minute.
Unless it's one of us.
I was like, wait a minute. You can look on social media
handles.
That's right. Longevity Fitness, Vibrant. That was not good.
But
pause.
I think one of the things.
Well, I was going to say, here's why. Because this is something we do, right? So this is a service that we provide clients.
This is our wheelhouse, if you will.
Right. Nutritional counseling. So it's not like we're saying everyone should do this. No. Everyone should do that. That's not, if your social media feed is full of that, that's what you're not listening to.
Well, and it's about this term bio-individuality.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. And it's about what is it specific to you. And that is something that
Mhm.
you and I cut that we focus on and that we specialize in is customized nutrition
Yep.
program. And when we do that, what is that? And what that does that mean? That means that we are looking at the individuals, what's going on with their health,
Yep.
what's going on with their lifestyle, what are their goals, and we create a protocol that supports all of that.
Yeah.
And so there's no cookie cutter. There's no, I don't have, and I know you don't, neither one
Correct.
have a cookie cutter nutrition protocol.
Right. It's
And so,
very,
and
are
nor,
there, yes.
and nor should anyone else. I mean, they're really, it doesn't, a cookie cutter nutrition protocol does not, should not exist.
Right. And it's very, there are generalizations that we can utilize. And then what do you, I know I tell people, then you tweak it, then you figure out,
Right.
like, does this work?
Right.
No. All right, try this, try, so.
And we do the same thing for ourselves, right? And I'm
Right.
constantly having to, make tweaks and adjustments because, it could be, I don't have food allergies, but I have food sensitivities. And depending on the
Mhm.
season, I might OD on something and be like, ooh, I gotta,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but in general, when it comes to your nutrition protocol in relation to your activity level, people. Again, unless you are training for an endurance event or something specific, you don't need the pre-workout. You don't need the monster or pretty much any pre-workout protein shake, the da 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 da. For most people, I would say
Mhm.
for probably 90% of both of our clients, having a healthy, balanced nutrition protocol is all
Yeah.
they need.
I'm
I
looking.
probably have for me, I probably have 10% of my clientele that we need to adjust their nutrition around their fitness for
Gotcha.
something specific to them. Other than that,
I'm
another 90% of my clients, no. Um, and women, you need carbs, you need
mm,
protein. Carbs are not the enemy. It's what type of
no,
food you're eating is the enemy.
get rid of the white crappy
Right,
donuts and stuff.
right.
Not that you're eating
Um,
that, but
I'm going
I'm
to
sorry,
try
I'm
very
looking
hard to not
through.
go down the nutrition rabbit hole here because I could spend the next hour talking about it.
I
So,
know we have to be careful because it is stuff we both really like. I was skimming through uh
but
chapter
people, if
10,
you want us to do a little nutrition series thing, we can. Wink, nudge, nudge. Let us know.
but you
Uh,
have to comment. You have to comment to let us know. Um, I was looking through, I don't think it's in chapter 10, the what I was looking
oh,
for, but
here's something.
uh
Here's something that was in the book. I just remembered something that I think is very important, and it is true. Carbohydrate sensitivity changes over the course of a woman's lifespan. As you get older, you have more insulin carbohydrate sensitivity.
right.
So, what does that mean? That means that if you have a higher carbohydrate diet, you're going to notice those sensitivities. For some women, if you are have any type of glucose imbalances or something, you're going
Mhm.
to notice those spikes more than you used to have. Some women, I've noted my clients that are over 50 or over 60, they have noted that they are getting more rounder around the midsection.
Yeah,
They have not
absolutely.
adjusted their carbohydrates. They're eating the same amount or the
And
same
it's also
carbohydrates that they did in their 30s.
right, eating the same amount and also eating the same kind. Because when we're
Exactly.
talking carbs,
Right. They
it's
haven't
not
adjusted.
right.
So
It's
that's
not,
something
we're
we
not
have to,
talking the
right. And we have to consider our nutrition. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. As we are aging, our nutrition plan needs to adjust to accommodate our
Absolutely.
body.
Yep.
Our macronutrient needs, our fat, our carbs, our protein needs change as we age.
Yep.
And so I think we get confused. I think people just, they just don't know that, or they don't know how to adjust that.
But it's a lot. So again, because that could be a whole series on its own. How do we adjust that?
That's a thing.
But I think the main point that we want to get home is that women need all three of those macronutrients, and cutting out the crappy carbs, right? The donuts, the croissants, the cereals, the
crap stuff.
Right. It's that kind of carbs that we're talking about that are the enemy, right? We're not talking vegetables. Vegetables are high in carbs, right? Squash and zucchini and all that. That's
right.
Like high in carbs, but they're also high in fiber and phytonutrients.
Plant-based carbohydrates, good.
Right.
Crappy carbohydrates that we don't know where they came from, bad.
If it comes from a plant, good. If it's made in a plant, bad. That's how.
Yeah, right? That's our, yeah, that's pretty much
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, and that goes for all of the things, right?
Right.
Fats, healthy fats. What are some of them? Avocados and even eggs have healthy fats. Nuts and seeds, and
you know, better oils. There are good oils that you can cook with. Yep. Avocado oil, olive oil.
Yep.
You know, again, you do have to watch your numbers. Again, your fat intake is dependent upon your individual body.
Yep.
Protein, there's all kinds of protein options, and women, make sure women just naturally eat less protein than men.
And it's interesting because I'm reading in the health and wellness book for my health coaching cert that it's like most Americans get too much protein, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I really believe that, because in addition to this, I've seen elsewhere how the estimates for what protein we need is grossly underrated. Right. And so those like those recommended dietary intakes, those RDIs, that they're not necessarily accurate.
Right.
Especially for women as we age, because where do most of those numbers come from, right? They're men and extrapolated to women. So we need to make sure we're getting enough protein, but that, ladies, doesn't necessarily mean a protein bar before your workout or a protein shake after. That's something we're going to talk about in a moment. There is, if you have the book and you're following, on page 164 and 165, it's the cheat sheet for athletes to figure out, based on Dr. Stacy's recommendations, right, how much protein and carbs you need per day. And so it's, and she has different you need different amounts depending on what you're doing. High intensity, you need more. If it's a heavy training day, you need,
And just so the average athlete, the everyday athlete knows, elite athletes, just so you know, their lives revolve around the fuel for their body, which is,
right.
I mean, it's down to many of them to the minute.
Yeah.
What they're eating, when they're eating, how often. And so none of us, us mere mortals, we don't eat like that,
I mean, she's got examples, right? In the chat, like if you scroll through that chapter, like I'm on the phone. She's got like day 2, wake up on 5:30 and at 6:30. Here's, before your swim.
No one does that. I mean,
like now, yeah.
you
I'm
know.
like 5:30, what?
And so I think people get confused
Yeah,
because, and of course it makes sense that people would get confused, that because there's so much information out
yep.
there. And
Mhm.
I think that this is actually might be, unless you have something else for chapter 10, is a nice segue into chapter 11.
Yeah.
The the foundational statement is, again, as long as you're having a balanced diet,
Hmm.
you do not need to eat to fuel your workout.
Right.
Now there's some caveats. There's some things in there, like, like, again, the length of your
Hmm.
activity, what the activity is,
Yep.
those types of things. But I think for the majority of our clients, it's
Yep.
probably an hour workout.
Yeah. So,
There, the intensity level is not too crazy.
right.
Um, and so, yeah, you don't need the pre-workout bar. You don't need the pre-workout drink. You don't need the post-workout protein
Right.
shake.
You
Or
don't need the Gatorade type drink during,
no,
because it's
during your
not
workout, no.
right.
Um,
I, I will say this about in chapter 11, she talks about, and so here's the other thing again, like as we said, we're going to skip over parts. Chapter 11 is really talking about those long endurance things, because she's talking about what to eat and drink while you're exercising.
right.
Like, not, and that's again long term, like a 3 hour training session. Like, if you're going to an hour Zumba class or an hour kickboxing class, you don't need to eat or drink to fuel. You need hydration. That's fine. One thing that I did really find interesting on page 176, she talks about eating um, and fasted training and eating on your, eating before you work out. And
Mm,
have, I usually do my workouts in the morning, and I get up and I don't eat before I work out, because I'm not hungry. I'll drink like some lemon water. That's my thing in the morning. Very rarely do I eat, but I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm recognizing that there are some things changing, right? No matter,
mhm.
because
Right,
I'm in it. I am in this thing.
right.
And it says, it most of the time it backfires. I will say I don't feel like it backfires. I will eat after my workout, because I know that, we need whey protein within 30 minutes, or protein and carbs within 30 minutes. So I'll do a protein shake as my breakfast, with carbs and nuts, and not nuts, mostly seed, chia and hemp.
Right, right.
Um, but she talks about how cortisol levels being high in the morning and exercising without eating actually increases your cortisol, which is right, which is something that is different from what I had learned previously, right? So I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes.
Yeah. And I think also depending upon the time of day, like there are people that are the religious morning worker outers. There's
Right.
worker outers. And then there's the midday at the lunch hour.
Yep. Hmm.
And then there's the folks in the evening. And there's little controversy on working out in the evening. But, and I am more of I work out when I can fit it in my schedule.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's between 4 and 6, or
Yep.
4 and 7.
Yeah.
And so it's, and so that being said, that also can contribute to,
Hmm.
if you need to have a little something in your stomach. For
Yeah.
example, if you're working out first thing in the morning, same thing. I have a lot of clients that work out in the morning and they say
Yeah.
that I just don't feel hungry. I don't want anything. And I ask,
Yeah. It makes,
well, have you ever tried to have a
yeah.
little something in your stomach to see if you feel it different, if your performance feels
Yeah.
different? And also what that little something is.
Yeah.
For some clients, a piece of gluten-free toast with a little nut butter on it is
Yeah.
perfect. That's all
Perfect.
you need. Other
Yep.
clients, it's a hard-boiled egg. You know,
Yep.
just a little something, something, um, you know.
And I will say years ago when I was teaching like a 6 a.m. class, it was, first of all, I was, almost 20 years younger, almost, not quite, but I was, and it was an hour long, it was a body pump class. When I would eat, I was like, oh God, this is not a good, like I would not have a good teaching experience.
Mhm.
And so at that point I was like, I'm just gonna not eat. And I felt much better. Now,
Right.
again, that was many years ago. So I am willing to tweak some things and try it out. And after reading this the other day, I was like, okay, maybe I'll try that and see how it goes, seeing as how my cortisol levels are through the roof and progesterone is in the toilet. So I'll
Might be
try it.
worth something trying out.
Yes.
So again, if you are going to be working out, for example, later in the day, let's say after work,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and the last time you ate was noon, then you probably should have a snack 1 to 2 hours before you work out.
Yep.
You know,
About protein and carbs. Should
right?
have a little bit.
A little something. And think of something that's easy for your body to digest.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can vary on the person, but you don't need to have a full-blown meal.
Right. And you probably shouldn't, because then you're diverting,
Right.
right? You're diverting blood flow from your belly to your
Right.
muscles that
And
are
I'm
working.
usually saying somewhere between 200 to 300 calories, give or take, nothing crazy. Um, so
Yeah,
and you might have to play with it, but you don't want anything
absolutely.
that's high in sugar, because that
Right.
can cause anything high in sugar can add some stress on your GI system. The last thing you
Yep.
need to do is have an accident when you work out.
Come on, ladies, we're already having difficulty doing jumping jacks,
but so play with that. So don't, and that might be why you are feeling like you have low energy when you're working out.
Yeah,
In running and racing, they call it bonking, or hitting a
I
wall.
know. I was like, what is that?
Trust me, I know what bonking feels like. And so you just feel, you're just toast. You got no energy. You look and feel like a human Gumby.
God, we're so entertaining.
Oh, and enjoy that visual.
So,
But I think the thing that you and I can agree on that everyone needs, and I'm already segueing, and I haven't even asked you if you're done, if you have a final comment,
I'm good, actually. Yeah.
is proper hydration.
Absolutely. I love what you talked about in here about the drinks, the energy drinks, like the sports drinks, I guess, not energy, because that's something else, right?
We know about the Gatorade and all of those, but then there's the tablets, there's
Gels.
the gels, it's just, and let me tell you, at one time or another, we've all been guilty of taking them, in the past, and realizing that we don't need it. If
Right.
you're properly hydrated, you don't need it.
Well, and again, I think this
anyway, the point being is those are, specific athletic hydration are, again, for the elite athlete.
Right. And I think that's what is really important that everyone understands. She talks super scientific about why these drinks, those sports drinks, actually dehydrate you. Where what is that word that I told you she talked about? Osmo, I forget. I don't know. Whatever it was. I was like, I don't even know what that word means. But it's super scientific, and osmolality, that's what it is. Osmolality. Like your blood volume and like, okay. Basically what it means is if you're an everyday athlete, you really don't need the Gatorade type drinks. You don't need a sports drink. If you're drinking water, that should be enough.
Get
If
enough
you're
water. If you,
right,
I mean, if you feel like you're just not being satiated or you're not getting enough, then maybe you need to go have a chat with your doctor. Maybe there's something
yeah,
going on why you're not.
right,
Um, but
absorbing or something.
right, right. I do
Yeah.
like on page 200, she does call out certain situations. Again, this isn't for everyone, but situations where
Mm,
you need to drink specific
yep.
or drink in addition to specifically. And remember, people, it's summertime.
Yeah.
You need to have good hydration year round, even in the winter. But during the summer, I mean, I'm out on the West Coast. We're having a heat wave. It be hot. And so I got to make sure you get enough water in, right? And
Right.
sometimes, I've even though I'm not a huge fan of it, I've even had to bust out the coconut water because I'm just like, I'm not feeling like I'm getting, you
Well,
know,
it's like what did you say? 120 degrees.
it was it was only like 175 degrees. No, it was like between 110 and 115 the other day, and it
So
was.
like
I'm
you're
like
just
literally, I'm a wilting petunia.
you're it's just in situations like that, yes, like you you probably should be drinking on a schedule at that point. But
Right, right.
and,
Um,
and yeah,
but for the
I
most part, I think I when and she even talks about, in here, hydration based on your cycle for
yeah,
exercise. Again, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
more for the more elite, but I think that's a good example for women in general. People do not get enough water.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I recommend to all my clients, they always ask me, well, how do I make sure I get enough water in? And I'm like, you go buy yourself a fancy schmancy water bottle, and that's your new best friend. It
So I find it interesting. I guess I don't understand it. It's something because that's all I drink usually is water. Like I will have like, I don't know, this is 25 ounces. I have like 5 of them a day, something for, and if it's hot like it was today, I just I I find it very interesting that people can't drink like 5 glasses of water a day. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like I drink 5 before noon. Like I don't, it's I
I think
so
so. Some of the things I hear, one, well, I have to pee all the time. I have to go to the bathroom all the time.
more steps.
Yeah. Like,
More,
okay,
you're more active. Yep. I
right.
go, yep.
Like, okay, it doesn't taste good.
Throw some water, lemon and
Okay,
fruit
this is
or
where we can
mint
use
or
it. Throw some herbs, throw some fresh mint in there, throw some lime, some lemon,
cucumber and yeah,
throw some fruit, a piece of pineapple,
something.
zhuzh it up.
Yep.
Um, what else? What's the other?
I don't like
I just don't like, yeah, I rather have, oh, well, can't I have iced tea because it's made with water? I'm
it.
like, well, you can have iced tea for lunch, but not all day.
Or is it like it's not sweetened tea, right? Is it like
Yeah.
green
I
tea
mean, you can
cold?
have those other things, but and then I get the can I have sparkling water? Does that count towards my daily water allotment?
Also, we do need to remember that like you do get hydration from some foods,
Yes, there is.
right?
There's
I
hydrating food, fruits and
so
vegetables, like,
right,
think cucumbers, fruits, all kinds of things,
watermelon.
water,
Yeah, like
all kinds of things. And so if you are having a balanced diet, right? Getting your water in, you should feel hydrated unless if you're working out on a warmer day, you're going
yeah,
to need more water.
yeah. Or
Making
your job is physical or what like
right,
that kind of stuff.
right, right. So I think it's important for you to realize that getting enough water is also important, not only for your just daily exercise, but also for your body's function.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, you don't need the drinks. Save yourself some time and money on the drinks.
Yeah, and the calorie. I mean, a lot of them I know are low cal now, but even still, that just really kind of means that it probably has some sort of
It's got
other
the fake nasty sugar in it. Come on.
right. As like it's not gonna have the real stuff.
Nobody wants that.
No, nobody needs it.
Yeah.
I think that covers that, right?
I think so. Recovery.
Yeah.
Again, this is another subject matter that we could like talk ad nauseum about. And so I want to do it justice because I agree with her on many aspects in recovery. I think, yes, elite athlete, female athlete recovery is going to be different than the average everyday athlete recovery, but both need to recover.
And what she says it in one of the pages, she talks about like the elite athlete, everyday active people. This is on page 228. And basically it's that everyday athletes are actually more prone to overtraining because we don't build in time for recovery like an elite athlete has. This is a recovery day and they don't do anything. It's like their day is lay in bed, watch Netflix, whatever it is, because that's their job basically. But everyday athletes, they do their workout, they, go home and make dinner, they go to the grocery store and they buy the groceries, and then they make dinner, and then they're helping kids with homework, and then they're staying up late, and all of those things, life makes it impossible for us to go, you know what, I'm just going to recover today. I'm going to do nothing and let my body heal.
And I think in the elite athlete, you got to keep in mind, elite athletes are not doing this alone. They've got a team of coaches, nutritionists, people that are creating the schedule, telling them what to do. This is one of the big differences. And, and I know both of us, when we train and create programs for our clients, it's balanced. Even a fitness regimen program is balanced.
Yep.
And I agree. I think the average person, because they, again, they don't know. They just don't know the importance. And trust me, when you're young and in your 20s, you rebound much quicker. We all know that.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Let me tell you, get your 40s. And
the foam rollers, my buddy.
In places that you didn't even know could have pain and discomfort.
Yeah.
And recovery is many things. Recovery is nutrition. Recovery is sleep. Recovery is
important for us perimenopausal women who don't get sleep.
Right. Recovery is stretching, mobility work, could be massage.
Yep. Foam rolling.
Epsom salt baths. It could be yoga. It could be, think of all of these things. Now, do you have to go home and spend the next hour doing all of those things?
Right. No.
But you incorporate them into your day.
Your regimen.
Into your regimen. You cut, in the evening, you know what I do? And not that, I will usually watch, if I watch Netflix or something at night, it's either on our flat screen or I watch it on my iPad. And I'm usually in our living room what I have in one of our end tables is a foam roller, a yoga strap. My massage gun is always nearby. I have a tennis ball.
Yep.
That I have to fight away from my dog. And so I will sit there and watch Netflix.
And do your recovery.
Work on something. Will it be for the entire show? No. but I will,
It
for a
doesn't have
portion
to.
of the time I'm doing on something, and, and I love my massage gun, and I will sit there and, and so it's just something. Do I do it all day? No, but I little,
Right.
um, recovery is so important.
Yep.
Recovery is, first of all, what allows the body to take what you just did, rebuild, repair,
Yeah.
and get you ready for your next bit of activity,
Right. It's during the recovery that you are building your strength.
that you make the gains. And
Right.
it's so important that and I think also it is okay to spread out your workouts, you know?
It's recommended,
Right.
right?
And, and walking is a wonderful form of exercise and recovery.
Yep. And if you can do your walking outside, you get the benefit of nature in it as well. And if you do it with someone you love, you have like, it's like mind blown, all this. Yeah. You
Yeah.
got the three things of, three things: lowering cortisol, helping you recover, rebuilding, all these good things.
And, keep in mind, ladies, as you are
All the
getting
ladies.
older, you are more susceptible to injuries.
Yep. We are more
You're more
susceptible to,
susceptible to inflammatory injuries,
yeah,
like tendonitis, like the back issue.
itises, all the itises.
Yes. And you may find that, and keep in mind, the activity that you did in your 20s will not be the same
Mhm.
activity that you're doing in your 40s, or even your
As
30s for that matter.
and
It has
it
to
shouldn't
adjust.
be.
You may need to reassess. And this may be where it's important for you. If you don't know and you feel, and you're just like, man, I'm not quite sure if I'm doing this right, this
Mhm.
is where it might be beneficial to you to hire a trainer.
Pop up with the
Um,
handles over here,
just
handle
saying,
over
for those on the East Coast
here.
and for those
Well,
on the West Coast, and for those that,
well, we all have Zoom, so
right,
either
right,
coast.
right. I'm just so,
Yeah,
if you're not quite sure, because I'm finding that a lot of my female clients that are in their 40s, I'm having to coach them on what scaling and modifying means. It doesn't mean you're
mhm,
working less, it just means you're working for your body. We're spending
right.
more time on stretching, we're spending more time on reviewing movements, more
Yeah,
knees, achy hips, achy low back, really
yeah,
a
a
lot
lot more mobility
lot
stuff.
of mobility stuff. And so, and I'm having to actually take time
Mhm.
in the session and say, okay, you're not doing the work on your own, so we're
Yeah.
going to have to do it here.
So it's funny you say it like that, because I will say to my clients pretty much every day, I'm like, all right, so what do you need today? What is going on?
Exactly
And
right.
what do you need?
Yep.
And they'll say, like, I need, like, oh, I've got, like, this
Right.
this is bothering me. I'm like, so do we need to do foam rolling? Do we need to do stretching? Do we need to strengthen? And because I have in my mind what I want them to do, but if I'm
That's
ready to
not
have
serving
them,
them.
but it doesn't serve them. So my question is, what do you need today?
Right.
And then we go from there.
Right.
And a lot of times it is, you know, 10 minutes out of a 30-minute session where we're doing sort of that basic strengthening or range of motion type thing. And then it's, wow, I feel great. Can we, like, all right, I want to lift now. I want to do cardio now, whatever it is. And it's,
And just so you know, people, here's a little tip. If you are looking for a trainer and it's not one of us, here's a little tip. If you are interviewing a trainer and they are cookie cutter and they're dead set and
yeah.
this is how they work and they're not open to teaching you modifications or scaling or understanding your body or working with your body,
Mhm.
run.
Or walk really fast if you
Or
don't
walk
run.
really, really fast.
If you are
That's
not a
the wrong
sprinter.
person for you. Any trainer worth a lick should be
Yep.
able to adjust and modify a session like that.
Absolutely.
And
I
to be
feel
able
like
to
sometimes
support
that's
your
my best
body
thing.
what it needs. Because what your body was last week may not be what your body is this week.
It might not be from the morning to afternoon. It might not
Right.
be.
So yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
there's one of the more you know. Yeah,
Those
for us
commercials.
80s kids. Yeah, the
Yeah.
more you know, educational moment.
The big star.
Yeah, right. And that one's on the house, kids. Um,
Yes.
I
So there's
think
lots of ways to recover.
there's tons. And if you do get the book, there is some, some suggestions on, page 226, 227.
I'll tell you this, be careful with a lacrosse ball, people. Start off easy. Start off with a racquetball.
Tennis ball.
I have people start off with racquetballs if they haven't done, because that's even softer. And it's, a lot gentler when you're just starting out, or if you're really tight.
Then just do a pillow. No.
Just kidding.
If a pillow hurts, we got issues.
There are some days, right, when the bed is like, oh, God, okay.
Yeah.
Like, sweet Jesus, my hip.
There's many times I'm foam rolling, and
my
dog man is so concerned because I am like,
Are you crying? Are you crying?
I'm crying, and I'm swearing like a sailor. I mean, it's like.
So you're good. If you could swear, it's really not that bad, because like I find when I hit, like when I do the laugh and I'm like this, I'm like, oh,
there's no at that point it's just
exactly, that's what I'm saying. If you could swear, it's really not that bad.
Nothing can come out.
Like, you're just I can't breathe like that.
Yes,
it's that pain where like you're like rocking, and then you get to that, and you're like, just can't move anymore.
And you're like tagging out.
Like you're not doing it to yourself. Sub in.
Anybody.
KO. So anyway, but foam rollers are great. Foam rollers really are good.
People, no, foam rolling, so good.
It is, as like you said, for us 80s kids, it is like John Cougar said, it hurts so good.
The during sucks, but after you feel amazing.
Yeah. I love when you can do like, before you do the lats, when you do like, if you do this stretch and then you do the lats, and then you're like, oh, look at my arms are like reaching. Like, I can reach the ceiling and I'm not even like.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So the foam roller really is good. Racquetball is great under the feet and for the forearms and the hands.
All good. So the idea for this whole episode was taking what's in the book, bringing it down to the everyday athlete, which is your and my client.
Correct.
And talking about the points. I think this episode was less about us personally and more about us as coaches and trainers, about what we see with our clientele. But I think it's also important because that's, that's part of who we are too.
Right.
And those chapters have a lot of good information. I just want to make sure people know that the specific audience that the book is
right.
But there's a lot of good information there, and a lot of good data for the everyday athlete.
Absolutely. And if they are an elite athlete, by all means, go ahead, follow that and consult your coaches, because those people, those elite athletes.
And if you're an elite athlete, you probably have a coach anyway that's monitoring you and all of that. So, So
good.
This was it. We got one more after this. I know. And so next the last episode will be wrapping up the book,
Yep.
us wrapping up the whole series,
Hopefully answering some questions.
hopefully answering some questions. Make sure you can even, I mean, for all of the people following us, you don't even have to comment on the actual episode.
Right. Send us
You
a
can
message.
DM us directly if you like,
Yeah.
with questions, comments.
We'll mention you if you want.
Right, right. And so we'll follow up with all of that, and it's going to be just us saying goodbye.
Goodbye for now. It's not really goodbye.
It's not just never goodbye.
It's just the end of this series. Maybe we'll do another leveling up real talk about something.
Maybe if people want us to come back, but you got to tell us.
Right? They'll be like, please don't.
They're like, we're good.
We're fine.
You never know, people. We may just take this show on the road.
Right? You should come here where it's cooler. I'll come to Seattle when it's cooler.
Oh, great. Yes, yes, yes.
Like, I mean, you know, not cooler as in like, I mean, cooler, but like cooler temperatures.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we are. We have a saying in New Jersey, it's welcome to New Jersey. Now get the F out.
And then here in Washington, we're like, let's just hug it out.
Like Canada, but in the US. Like,
do you want some of my granola? You want
yes. Oh my God, this will be sad if we don't do another one.
You know, yeah, your people are a little harsh. My people are just a little overwhelming because they just want to get up in your personal space.
Well, they like to do that in New Jersey too, but you know.
Reasons.
Oh goodness. So people, yes, if you want more, let us know. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have another book that you like, maybe we'll do like a book club.
There you go.
It'll be like LeAnn and Jill's book club.
Okay. All right, my dear. That was it.
Ooh,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, we did it.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys next episode.
We will. All right.